Welcome back with another rendition of old time photos. And I don't know much about this person, but this is an individual probably from 1850 to 1870, and we know nothing about her. But I thought it might be interesting to ask her what's going on in her life.
Yeah, I thought she had a very interesting face.
Yeah. You know, I was watching something, uh, and they said people don't recognize old people and they kind of just pass them by. So I thought that this would be a great opportunity to give her a voice, even though she's crossed over, and ask her about that transition through the end of her life and what happened to her, what her life was like on the earth plane.
Mhm. She's here. She doesn't really speak unless she's spoken to. Was it like that? Yes, it was like that when she was here on the earth plane. She was very quiet.
Why?
Why were you so quiet? That was a survival skill she learned from when she was very little. If you spoke, you drew attention to yourself, and it was important to not draw any attention to yourself at all.
Were there traumas that she had early on in life that led her to have that decision?
Were there problems that you had? She had a lot of problems. She had quite a difficult life, yes.
Have her tell us about it. And thanks for joining us, by the way. What did she think about chatting with us?
Oh, she loves it. She's happy to be here. She's never done this before, by the way. This is her first time. So what went on? Well, there was never enough food to eat. She was very, very poor growing up. Life was very difficult. I feel that her family, she had a lot of siblings. The house where they lived was absolutely crammed full of people. It was dirty. They only had one sort of bathroom, and they didn't have a lot of water. Water was scarce. Trying to be clean, they never had clean clothes. There were mice in the home. It wasn't good. It was
Why?
really, really difficult.
Why would she contract into something like that? Were there just not
Why?
many options?
Because she went along with what the Soul family thought that they should do to make great challenges in their lifetime. And she thought that this was a good idea. She goes, I now know better that poverty, coming into a life of poverty, does not serve the soul well. It actually really beats the soul down.
How many incarnations has she had?
How many incarnations as a human have you had? Uh, Not very many, surprisingly, only just over 100. So she's a relatively young type of soul.
Can she tell us about the transition from human incarnation to animal incarnation? What was she prior to becoming a human?
She was an elephant.
Oh, that's a diversion from being a small, meek person to a large elephant. Are elephants usually next? Is that one of the other species that is in line next for human incarnation?
Ooh, is that one of the species that? Yes, oftentimes elephants, uh, dolphins, apes, primates, monkeys, things with a higher level of consciousness.
Oh, wow. Can she tell us about her life as an elephant? And if she was hunted then, or if she was, what was it like?
Again, a very large family, and it was about following orders. Weather was a big factor at times, definitely.
Has she
Uh,
thought about that life much?
Sometimes, sometimes, yes. What can you say about it? She enjoyed it for sure. I mean, she liked the freedom of being out in nature, but times could be tough when there were storms or when they were hunted and they would lose a family member when the terrain was dry. The food became scarce. They would have to migrate into different areas. Migration was always very difficult.
As elephants, how do they communicate? Are they psychic or telepathic?
How do they communicate as elephants? Are they telepathic? They're somewhat telepathic. It's just a knowing of what each other needs and a show of strength and force as well.
Can she tell us about another lifetime that she had and that probably she's her most favored lifetime
What was your
as
most
a human?
favorite lifetime as a human? Yeah, I'm glad you said that because she immediately went to one little lifetime where she was a mouse. As a human, mm, one of her favorite lifetimes as a human was a baby that passed away at about around 1 years old
Why?
because the lifetime was filled with nothing but love and joy and laughter and caring and hugs and kisses and songs. It was a crib death.
I'm so sorry. We think of that as sadness, and we don't think of it as the joy that that entity doesn't have a chance to experience the hardship of life. So I guess what is the most surprising thing that she's learned in the transition between life and afterlife?
That it's all false, that this is just a stage.
Which
This
part? Our
this
part or
is
her part?
our part. It's just the roles that we play. It's meaningless.
How much of what happens in our lifetime does she think is carried over onto the spirit plane?
Mm. She says everything is carried over.
Wow. What other understanding does she have or connection does she have to the animals kingdom when she's over there on the other side or where she's at now?
You have any connections to the animal kingdom? She has connections to souls that are still part of the animal kingdom. Yes. There are members that are they still in your soul family? No. So she somewhat evolved. Did you have to leave your soul family behind? No, some of them managed to make it through, but then some of them stayed behind. I told you she comes from a very, very, very large soul family. And there's some of the soul family that are still elephants in Asia.
Ah, how does she experience emotions differently now on the other side?
Ooh, how do you experience emotions differently now that you're on the other side? The bad ones, they just are there. You don't actually feel them, right? You just don't feel the bad emotions. Whereas here on the earth plane, you do, like you feel the sadness and the despair and the feeling like a failure and anger. You don't feel those up there. You know that they're there. You're carrying them around with you, but you don't have to actually experience them or express them.
Are there negative energy temptations while you're on the other side, or are you enveloped in a, protective veil while you're there? Because we have vices we can pursue here, but what about up there?
Ooh, are you protected up there from negative? Yes, it's very protected. It's a very loving environment. She says it's full of love, joy, peace. She says that, there. So do you have any negatives up there or anything that tries to like infiltrate in the spirit world that is negative? No. No, there's nothing that can really infiltrate the spirit world that is negative. The only thing
Hmm.
Huh, she's telling me. I'm like, what do you mean by that? Because I'm a medium and I can,
Rude.
yeah, I can connect to the spirit world, right? So sometimes I'll go for a little walk around up there and because I'm still human, I then carry my negatives, they're automatically attached to me, because here, and as humans, or even it doesn't matter what you are, what body you're in, you have a combination of both light and dark. And so that's how I would, bring darkness up into the spirit world
Ah.
or an element of it.
Is there like a life review where they send a room and they say, okay, here you made a bad decision. You know, what do you think about that? Is there like a life review of your life when you cross over for each incarnation or disincarnation? I don't know what you call it when you pass.
Is there a life review? Yes, but it's not, did you get told you made mistakes? No, it's just guidance on how to better structure it next time. What did you learn from it? Um, how did you feel? How did you make others feel? But is there judgment? There's no real judgment. That's one thing that always bothered me about religion. You will be judged when you get to the other side. Well, yes, but as she's telling us, the way that we are judged is through, you know, how we could have done things better, but we're not receiving harsh punishments for our mistakes and our
Oh,
poor judgment here.
that's good. That's good. Well, that's not in telling you to go out and do bad things, people listening. I want you to make sure you still do good things. If she could tell her younger self something, or maybe she could take a look. Is she incarnated now? I forgot if we asked that.
No, she's not.
Is she coming back anytime soon? And what would she tell her younger self about the journey of the soul?
If you come back, what would you tell she will be back, your younger self about the journey of the soul? To be more lighthearted about it, and then it's just a game.
How could she best play the game?
How can you best play the game? Really, it's about just emitting good karma, kindness, friendship, love to everybody here. That's how she believes you play the game.
Can she tell us what she thinks about karma and what karma is and how that plays a role in the soul's journey?
What is karma? Karma is like a mirror, she says.
Oh,
It's looking in the mirror. Whatever you put out there is exactly what's going to come back. Sometimes there's varying degrees of it. Sometimes you can put a lot of bad karma out there and then it gathers as an energy and it builds. So when it comes back to you like a boomerang, it's coming back with a vengeance. It's a booby trap.
oh, watch out. Um, is there karma in the spirit world or is it only while you're down here on the earth plane?
Is there karma in the spirit world? No, no, not really. I mean, you carry it with you, but you don't have to experience the, karma coming at you.
How does she perceive the energy of humans on earth now while in the spirit plane?
Miss Reality, you're so smart. Don't
An
forget he has a
open-ended
two-star.
question for her just to see how she perceives it.
When she looks down here, it's like destruction. We're all down here destroying ourselves instead of building ourselves up, building each other up. But I'm saying that's a very spiritual view. The biggest problem I have with that view, just from doing CTT sessions and readings, excuse me, is that some of the worst mistakes you can make is thinking that everyone is as good as you are, right? So if you're a very trustworthy person, you proceed through the lifetime thinking that everybody you come into contact with is just as trustworthy as you, or just as friendly as you, or just as loyal as you. And I'm saying to her now, even though that's a very sort of rose-tinted view of how we should look at the earth plane, that's not how things work down here, because those people that see other people like that all the time, no matter what, they end up getting in a lot of traumatic circumstances. And she understands that. She does, but she says all you can do is try your best.
What is she going to tell people about this meeting that she had with us?
Ooh, what are you going to tell people about this meeting you had with me and Mr. Reality? That they should sign up. They should sign up to appear on the show.
Well, it's chosen at random, so we just chose her photo, and I appreciate her connection that she gave to us of the spirit world. And each of you out there, Liz, I appreciate you letting me do this too. This is a lot of fun. I just trying to dig into, the nature of our human existence and what happens when we cross over.
Everything is so clouded, and so we're really trying to get to the bottom of this stuff. I can't say enough about the CTT. And again, even if you don't come to the CTT group, the recordings are there available on the CTT channel. You need to listen to the first 10 to 15 minutes of it, because we really go into some in-depth information. So thank you, Mr. Reality. We
Thank you very
appreciate your
much.
question.
We'll see you at the next CTT if you sign up. Thanks, everybody.